and welcome to This Thing Called Life, a podcast dedicated to sharing stories of giving, kindness, compassion, and humanity. Your host, Andy Johnson, will guide you through powerful stories of organ, tissue, and eye donation from individuals, families, and healthcare teams whose experiences will inspire you. Every act of giving, no matter how small, has the potential to change a life. We're so glad you're here. Now, let's dive into the show.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to This Thing Called Life. I'm your host, Andy Johnson, and I want to welcome you to the show today. I have a very special guest, someone whom I've personally known for many years, since the 90s, if you can believe it. But he has a special connection to our mission and to organ donation, and so we're going to dive into that in our conversation today. But with that, I'd love to introduce and welcome to the show Mr. Corie Blount. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us.
No problem.
So first, let's just level set the conversation. So for listeners and people tuning in who may not know who you are, can you talk about your connection to City of Cincinnati and, more importantly, the University of Cincinnati Bearcats?
Wow, how much time we got?
I know. That's a whole other podcast.
Yeah, I guess to make it short, I'm I kind of consider myself, I played on one of the most successful teams at the University of Cincinnati. I'm one of the guys that kind of resurrected the program in a sense. We went to the Final Four my first year here and then Elite Eight. My 2 years here kind of put Bearcat basketball back on the map, and this has always been a home ever since then. I played 11 years in the NBA, got drafted by the Chicago Bulls from my experiences at the University of Cincinnati. So I have a indebtedness of gratitude to the city and the university, and that's why I'm still here. And this is home now. I told my brother a couple weeks ago I was coming back home to LA, and he was like, "Bro, you're at home, man. You done been there longer than you've been from LA." So this is home for me now, and I've always appreciated being a Cincinnatian now.
Yeah. So you've had a very storied career in both college and the NBA, and that run in the 90s and the Final Four was just magical.
Yeah, you were a part of that.
Yeah, I was. I was. So being a part of that and leading that, and then this huge transition into the NBA, and you won some championships.
Well, not really.
Not really?
I mean, my claim to fame, or my trivia question that everybody likes to use is, who's the only player that played with Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, and not win a championship ring? And that would be me.
Corie Blount.
Yeah, I played with the Bulls for 2 years, got traded to LA, and when I got traded to LA, the Bulls won 3 championships. I was in LA for 4 years and got traded to Phoenix, and then the Lakers won 3 championships. So they just had to get rid of me to kind of define that winning championship attitude. But the thing about the Bulls, they had won 3 before I got there too. So It was just a timing thing for me. Yeah. But, I played with probably the best players of that era, and was able to at least be a part of that.
Yeah. Wow, that's a heck of a career, though.
Yeah, 11 years.
Yes, and we're grateful that you call Cincinnati home, and you've raised your family here, 5 beautiful children.
Yeah.
So let's transition. Life is good. You're doing all the things, and you've just had such an amazing impact in the community. Like, I've watched you over the years, and just with your is it
the Graduate program?
Yes, the Graduate program, just really working with our youth and making a difference. So take us through the time when your son, CJ, by all accounts, everything is going well, and then he gets sick.
Yes, perfectly healthy. 25 years old now, but I'd say about a year ago, he had been working out and, pretty much living a normal life as a 24-year-old young man. And I remember he said that came in one day and was just like, he thought he was feeling a little funny, he wasn't feeling good. So thing about him, he would just say, I'm not feeling good today, but I'm going to go to the gym, work out, and continue to keep going. And one day he came in and just said he had a headache. So took him to the doctor, and they pretty much just said, well, his blood pressure's a little high. I don't remember if they put him on medication or not then, but that was the only like symptoms or anything that we ever kind of had an inclination that he wasn't doing well throughout his life. So about a year or so later, I'll never forget, he came to my room and was just like, man, Dad, I don't feel good. And I blew my nose, and he had a blood clot in there. And I was like, well, you better go to urgent care, at least see if you got a cold or anything like that, because I'm never thinking anything serious. So he goes to urgent care, and he calls us and said, they're rushing me to the emergency. They're calling an ambulance, said that I need to go to emergency immediately. And I was like, what happened? His blood pressure was like 220 over 135 or something. So they were amazed that he was able to walk in and by himself. So, just to kind of let you know that we were so unaware of this, I'm just like, all right, well, we'll meet you at the hospital. And make a long story short, we were there with him for 13 days after that. They were running tests trying to find out what was going on. And about the 8th day while we were there, they said that they think it's his kidneys. His kidneys is failing. I'm not having a clue really what that means, So the doctor, they're running all these tests, they're coming in and kind of telling us they're thinking it's the kidneys, and then I don't know the proper terms for it, but it's creatinine. It was low, and then his potassium was low. So all this stuff that I had no idea about were being introduced to us at that time, and then come to find out he was dealing with kidney failure.
Was there ever a family history of kidney disease or high blood pressure?
Not on my side, not on my wife. I mean, the other kids are fine. We just, it was an anomaly for us. Like, I didn't understand. No one in my family, my mom lived to be a good age. I mean, she's still living. I was raised by my great grandmother, so they lived to be, old. So no symptoms. Nobody in my family had issues like that.
So that must have been a shock to you and your wife. Just it kind of came out of nowhere. What's it been like for you? Like you have 5 kids, and I think as parents, we never think like our kids are going to get sick, right? And then it happens. So what's that been like for you and your wife?
Because I had no idea about, the issues that he was dealing with, it's more of a learning curve for me. And then just trying to make sure that, let him know he's loved and that we're supporting him. He's never alone. Every time when he was at the hospital, our whole family was there, sleeping on the couches and on the floors and everything, just to show our support. And we're supporting him now through this. It's just a learning curve. We're really learning about this disease and how it affects people. Learning about diet, and of course you hear all these kind of natural cure things. So you're saying, do we go this way? Do we listen to the doctors? Do we try the natural remedies? And just kind of learning as we go, and really don't have all the answers yet. I know, I appreciate what you guys did with the program that you guys have to bring awareness to his situation, and it kind of educated me also, because like I said, when I was interviewed there, I never really knew the value of that little box just saying, would you like to be an organ donor? And of course, first thing you think is like, well, I don't want nobody to have my organs. But
that's what a lot of people think, right? But I'm glad that you're able to say that, because it's important for people to know. Those are things that I think stay in families for generations, because especially with Black Americans, it's, there's not always that same level of trust in the medical system as with white Americans.
And that educational piece, too.
And the educational piece. And so I think, unfortunately or fortunately, you've been thrust into this light as being an advocate, for organ donation for CJ. So prior to that, had organ donation ever been a topic? Never.
I never even knew you could live with one kidney.
Right.
When you saw whatever advertisement or someone saying that they need a kidney, you're like, well, man, if I give my kidney up, how's my life going to be moving forward? But the good thing that I've learned is that if you you got to treat your body right no matter
Yes.
what, especially after you endure something like that. If you decide to donate, you can't continue to abuse or,
Right.
abuse your body and think you're just going to be healthy. So
Right. Right.
for me, I'm willing to, donate my organs while I'm alive, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean, to be able, I think that will force me to really take better care of myself and do the right things to kind of give myself opportunity to live a long life. So I understand that
Absolutely.
now.
Absolutely. So, as you mentioned, we had the opportunity to celebrate CJ and highlight his story at the Jackie Robinson Day with the Cincinnati Reds. And you got to throw out the ceremonial first pitch to him.
No, well, he threw it
Oh,
to me.
he threw it to
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Yes. Okay. What was that moment like? Because not only did you guys have that moment, but you also got to share that with some very important people who I think kind of shaped you.
Yeah.
Your teammates from UC. Can you talk about that?
Well, my son, he didn't really explain the whole thing like that. I'm thinking I'm just going to watch him throw out the pitch to a professional catcher, not me being the one that was going to have to be down there. So, once we get there, they like, yeah, he's going to throw out the first pitch and you're going to catch it. And I'm like, what? Who's going to catch it? And they're like, no, you're going to catch it. I'm like, where's the professional guy? So you mean I got to squat down there? You guys don't
I
know
don't know if
about
I'm gonna
these
be able
knees?
to get back up, right, with the knees.
Yeah, so CJ said, don't worry, Dad, I'll throw it high so you don't have to get low. So I said, all right. But it was an honor, man, just to have that experience with him. And it's still, to me, a part of this support. Like, whatever he's going through or whatever events, I want to make sure that he's supported through this. And trying to, I guess when you're dealing with an illness like that, it is kind of scary, you would think, to stay upbeat and be positive all the time. So we're just trying to garner around him to keep that positivity around him. And that was just an amazing event. Like you said, my teammates came and supported. I had family also there.
I know.
So
It was a packed house.
Yeah. And some friends,
And some friends,
You and
that's
Denise
right.
were there. So that kind of made me feel comfortable seeing you guys there. So I was excited, and it was a fun time.
It was a fun night. So, as you're continuing to walk this journey and support CJ, what I loved is that he's a mature young man. Just in talking with him, and he seems to have a really positive outlook.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to note that CJ he's been listed at University of Cincinnati Hospital. So people who are interested in getting tested can contact their transplant unit to learn more on how to do that. And it's important also to say that to be tested to be a living kidney donor, it's actually a very simple process, and it starts with a mouth swab. They send you a Q-tip. It's a longer Q-tip, and they do a mouth swab, and that's how the process starts. So I just think it's important to kind of demystify what that really means, and then also to your point that you can live with one kidney and do just fine.
Yeah.
And so we need to get, the word out and education about what organ donation is and what it isn't. So post-transplant, because we're just going to claim it, that CJ's going to get his kidney transplant, what will he be able to do that maybe he's kind of had to slow up on due to everything going on?
The amazing thing to me is that he's I think he's like me. We don't really express our problems or issues out verbally or show any signs of that. So it's kind of, I'm digging in him. Like, how you feel today, man? I'm all right. Man, how do you feel today? I'm okay. So it's never like, oh, I'm sick or anything. So that's what's kind of scary to me, because he's not showing really no illnesses. Like, he's not walking around, or he's just being normal CJ. Now he's not able to go play basketball and things like that he used to. But as far as his vitality, he's still a comedian and everything. All that is
just like his dad.
Yeah. So that's where it's that learning curve to really try to figure out, how he really doing, and then we want to try to be a positive positive individual to help him get through that. And we're just supporting him. We're supporting him in every way we possibly can.
And CJ did graduate from UC.
Yeah. Bearcat.
Yes, Bearcat. The tradition continues.
Yeah.
And what was his degree in?
Business.
Okay.
He got his business. He got his degree in business, and
That's awesome.
you know, he still kind of had to stop working because of the dialysis going three times
Right.
a week. And the one thing I do notice is when he does come from dialysis, he's a little tired, you know. But he comes home and eats immediately, so I see that as a good thing because he's not losing his appetite. So I don't know too much. Like I said, I'm still learning about the disease, but I think the fact that he's still able to have an appetite and he's still able to move around. The only thing I think that's the hardest part for him is having the port right there.
Yeah.
And I think they had kind of suggested to him to put it in his arm. And then when they told him that he was going to have a bubble or something
The
like
fistula, yes.
yeah, he wasn't with that.
Yeah.
So he said, I'll leave it
It's
there.
hard for someone that, you know, being of such a young age, you know. I think, too, though, it is helpful that he is young and doing the dialysis versus being older because it can deplete you.
Okay.
So, you know, dialysis is kind of just a stopgap,
Yeah.
right? But the hope is that he will, you know, get that transplant quickly.
Definitely. I'm hoping I can be a match, to be honest.
Yes. That would be amazing.
I'm praying that that's the out. You know, my kids, his brothers and sisters, everybody else was definitely wanting to step up. But in a perfect world, I wish that it would just be me, and hopefully my kidneys are strong enough to, you know, it was an athletic kidney
That's
at one
right.
time.
That's right.
So-
I say once an athlete, always an athlete.
Well, I agree with that. My body might not say that, but my mind does.
That's right. That's right. Well, our hope and prayer is that you are the match, and if not, it's someone else in the family. But I would not be surprised if there's not people just knocking down the door to see if they would be a match for CJ. And another, I think, interesting fact about the living kidney donation process is that even if you're not a match for CJ, or if anyone else went to be tested and they're not a match for CJ, but they can still be a donor, then there's this program, it's called the Paired Kidney Exchange. So then you, for example, would donate to someone else that you were a match for, and then someone else who was a match for CJ would then donate for him. So that's another pathway that isn't always talked about, but that does happen.
Yeah,
so,
I was introduced to that also.
Yeah,
So if that's the way that it works for us, then I'm willing to do that also.
Yeah. So you have a podcast as well, so I wanted to shout that out. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, we have a podcast called Legends Unplugged with my teammate, Terry Nelson. He's my teammate in the podcast. He was my former teammate at the University of Cincinnati. And we were probably two of the most energetic characters of that team. So we kind of decided to get together and kind of talk about the current situation with UC basketball. First, that's what the podcast was going to be about, but then we kind of expanded on the other topics, and it's been going really well, man. That's my brother from another mother, as we say, and we just having fun doing that, just talking about the city and the program and different things at the university.
That's awesome. And then, so the Huggins documentary, talk about that.
I was introduced to that from Alan Hill Singer and Terry Lukemeyer. They came to me, they went to Alex Meacham first. And Alex called me like, man, these guys came to me about doing a documentary on Coach Huggs, man. And I said, there's no way that anybody could get other fellow players to get involved in it. Nobody but you can do that. So I'm turning them over to you, basically. And when I met with them and they told me what the premises was all about, I'm like, man, this is be a phenomenal time to do it, and it'll give us opportunity to give Coach Huggs his flowers while he's kind of still here. So we went to work, man, and we interviewed 40 former players.
Wow.
It was the premiere was a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Had a good turnout. Coach Huggs loved it. Everybody who saw the premiere loved it. So we're hoping to get it. We have an agent now that's shopping it to the networks to hopefully get it on.
It's going to get picked up
I hope
for
so.
sure.
Yeah, everybody will like it.
There's no other person like Coach Huggs.
No question.
He is a unicorn for sure.
Definitely.
I think my favorite story about Coach Huggs was he was coaching for West Virginia, and they were playing UC, and I took my son to the game, and we were sitting like right behind the West Virginia bench.
Okay.
And my son was pretty young at that time. And he heard words he had never heard before.
Yeah.
I'll just say
Definitely.
very colorful language.
Yeah. Definitely. I can imagine that. I've experienced it also.
I'm
So
sure you've been on the receiving end of that.
Yeah, it was different, man. When I came here, like I tell everybody, the worst thing my coaches ever said before I got here, when I wasn't playing well, my coaches would just say, Jesus criminy.
Right.
Come on, big guy, Jesus criminy. So I got used to that as being a word that was used to push me. But when I got to Cincinnati, it was some other words that really took me a little time to get used to.
Yeah, I'm sure. You grew up real fast.
Yes, you did. Yeah. But after a while, I learned and understood the method behind the madness that made Coach Hugs who he was. His whole thing was he was going to push you, he was going to make it tough on you. But before you can get mad at him, he had his arm around you, telling you how special you are and why I'm on you, and come in my office and let's talk. So it was a balance that I had to learn to adapt to, but I think that prepared me for life because it was the up and down challenges of that level of basketball, and then moving forward, it just made me understand that everything ain't gonna be handed to you softly.
That's true. I agree. Now, he definitely has had such an amazing impact on his players and on the community. And so I'm definitely looking forward to watching that documentary. One thing I wanted to touch on is I think, as you said, this was like such a surprise about CJ. And would it be fair to say that at first you didn't really talk about what was going on? Was that because you were kind of processing everything, or?
I was in denial.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm just like, how this happened? He doesn't use drugs.
Right.
He doesn't abuse anything. I mean, was a perfectly healthy kid. And so it made me start questioning, are you being honest about your life? But, just learning and then seeing that he did have like a slight situation with his blood pressure. And then so me learning, I think the words they say about blood, like it's a silent killer or something like that. So it made me understand like he had been dealing with this. 25-year-olds, they don't go to the doctor.
Right.
They don't go get checkups like they supposed to. So I'm sure it was times when he should have went to the doctor, he probably didn't. And I think over the years, it was like a couple years, it just went from normal to pretty bad.
Right.
And that's the thing that kind of made me, I'm still trying to figure out how did it go that bad that fast to from almost being healthy or pretty much healthy to now you're dealing with an illness like that. So I don't understand that part of it, but like I say, I'm learning the issues with the disease and kind of seeing how it works.
Yeah, and I think the blessing is that even though it probably was there for a while, it hadn't been there as long as it could have been, because as you said, it has been called like the silent killer. Because like what comes to mind is former NBA player Nate Robinson. Who he said that he was battling kidney issues and high blood pressure throughout his career and in college, and coaches were just letting him go. And then it got to the point where it was like, hey, your kidneys are done and you need a transplant.
I do remember that.
And thankfully he found a living donor, and he's doing great. But I think the fact that CJ really is kind of on the front end of this is going to just be really, really good for him as he finds his donor and continues to live a thriving, healthy life. Because we know dialysis is, you're not thriving, you're just trying to make it. And he's just probably pushing through, to do the best he can.
Yeah, that's the thing. I kind of struggle with also. Like I kept asking the doctor, like, why does he have to go 3 times a week for 4 hours a day? That's like, is it that bad? Because he's still going to the bathroom normal. Or he says normally, doesn't have a fever or anything. So it's like, but they kind of explained to me what the dialysis does.
Cleaning the blood.
So, like I said, we're learning.
That's
but
great.
I think for anyone that's dealing with this type of issue, the major thing that you would know and need to have is support. And I think that's well, I take my hat off to you guys for what you're doing, man. This is phenomenal. That I don't know how we would have been able to deal with what we deal with. And fortunately, organizations like yourselves are stepping up and getting people to understand what's going on. And it's definitely needed. Like I said, I didn't have a clue. So just getting that information from organizations like yourself is very impactful.
Yeah, and you're definitely not alone in that. And that's why, Network for Hope, that's why we have platforms like the podcast, so we can have real conversations about what organ donation is and what it isn't. And, what I want to tell people about being a living donor is you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be willing.
Yeah.
And if people understand that they can take that step and get tested, it will save so many lives, including CJ's.
No question. Yeah. If I can be a donor with all the things I did to keep myself active on the basketball court with the pain meds and everything just to stay. And if I'm able to do it, I think anybody should be able to do it. So hoping that it works that way.
I love that. I love that. Well, Corie, as always, this has been great. And I just love being able to spend time with you and talk about this topic and learn more about you and your beautiful family. But we'll see each other again, I'm sure.
Question. Like I said, anything I could do to help. You asked me to do this, hey, I'm going to support as much as I can because you guys supported us. So appreciate your help.
Yeah, absolutely. We're your extended family. We're going to walk this together. So just know that.
Thank you.
So I want to thank everyone for tuning in today. This was a great conversation with just a great human being. And we appreciate his vulnerability and just telling his family story. So thank you, CJ. It's also a reminder, there are 108,000 people who are waiting for life-saving gifts, but the gift that is most in need is a kidney. And there are about 90,000 people who are waiting for a life-saving kidney transplant. And just know that you could be a voice of hope. You can register today to be a donor at registerme.org, or you can visit networkforhope.org to get more information about what being a living kidney donor means. It is life-saving and life-changing. So as we leave today, I just want to remind everyone to please be kind to yourself and to others. Take care.
Thank you for tuning in to This Thing Called Life. Remember, every act of giving, no matter how small, has the potential to change a life. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts so you never miss a new episode. We'd truly appreciate it if you could share, like, or leave us a review to help us grow.